All right, see you.
Coach, first trip to Notre Dame for this team, obviously. Haven't won at Notre Dame since 2008. But you keep saying, I'm not looking at the past, I'm looking at the current team and what they can do. What are your expectations for this game going in?
Well, I hope our team comes out and plays with poise and plays with confidence and plays with great passion and great intensity. But I'm excited to be able to see where we are, going up and playing against a really good team, a tough team in a tough environment. I think it will really challenge our players, and hopefully we're ready to compete.
Knowing the players, knowing that they've got a top 15 team next on the schedule and competition steps up big time, where do you think their mindset has been the last few days?
I think they've been excited about the opportunity. I think that's how they look at things, and I think they were excited about our progress from game 1 to game 2. I think that was a real positive for us. But I think mindset-wise, they've been okay. They've come to practice in a good state mentally, and I'm just looking forward to tackling the next opponent.
A lot of time management this week with a lot of games, because obviously you have to give them a day off. Do you feel like this has been a good test for you guys in the first, what is it, 3 games in 8 days for you guys?
Right. As a coach, I sure wish I had 3 more practice days in there. But coaches, we never get enough practice days. So, it's come quick. They've had to bounce back quick. They've had to learn quick. They've had to take film sessions that maybe would have been a little bit longer, and we've had to shorten those film sessions to be able to get through what we needed to get through to prepare for another team. These scouting reports have really come quick.
You talked before the ETSU trip about maybe the value of getting a road trip under your belt early in the season like that. Did you learn anything about your team traveling-wise or anything like that leading up to another one?
Honestly, for us, our first road trip is a lot about logistics, management, seeing where we need to clean some things up, because we want to make sure that we're efficient, we're effective, how we get in and out of the locker room. So there are a lot of things that I needed under their belt logistically before we go up to Notre Dame. So that was a good positive that we got that done. And when you have that confidence that you know what's about to happen, you know what pregame's going to look like, you know what riding on the bus to the game is going to look like, it can give you confidence in any other area.
Are there a lot of differences? I mean, obviously there are differences playing home and away, but I mean, for you all to be able to have that under your belt, versus playing at home.
No, there are differences, in how you handle yourself at the hotel. I mean, just having that and knowing our expectations and having done it, I think is important. Also, I thought at ETSU we played in a pretty loud and pretty tough environment, and I think that could be beneficial for us going into this game.
You're watching Notre Dame on film. What stands out about them, and what do y'all really need to harp on to come out with a win?
I think Notre Dame is really good in transition. They are great passers. They are great cutters. And I think those 3 things, you've got to slow them down in their transition game, but you've got to be able to defend cuts. Great passers in the half-court game as well. Obviously, they're not deep, but the players that they do have can make plays.
Coach, in terms of tempo, do you hope to be able to push it at times on Monday night?
Well, I think our pace is important to us, and when we play fast, we've been better. So yes, we want to have a good tempo on us, especially offensively. We've got to be able to slow their tempo down on the other end.
They lost every starter from last season, so obviously last year's game film doesn't particularly help. But you probably had a chance to take a look at them. Just how different are they from, say, what they did last year to how they are now?
Well, they're different in the personnel, but they're doing a lot of similar things, and they're just tough. I mean, Notre Dame players, and they're just coached very tough, and they're going to be physical. They're going to do what they need to do defensively. They're going to change up their defenses. They're going to really pound you on the boards. But I think one of the things that they were known for last year was their transition offense. That hasn't changed. The personnel has changed, but they're still looking for the same things.
It's not directed at any player necessarily on your team, but just basketball in general. What do you look for in a 6th man?
High energy, player that's going to come in and make plays. I have had some terrific players come off the bench for me in the past. I've had all conference players come off the bench in the past. I think you've got to have somebody that's going to come in the game, give you a boost of energy when they enter the game, and they're going to be a playmaker for you.
Obviously, the SEC schedule is a little far out, but with games like this at Notre Dame, are you kind of happy you have them to get your team prepared for that skid against the conference teams?
Oh, absolutely. I want to play a tough schedule. I want to play teams on our schedule that are going to challenge us. You may walk out of a non-conference schedule with maybe a loss or two more than you would otherwise, but you know, the ultimate goal is to be the best at the end, and we've got to be ready for SEC play. So we have to be playing teams that are big, strong, athletic, and can execute.
After the game against Central Arkansas on Thursday, you talked about maybe Zay was a little too passive on the offensive end, passing the ball too much. Have you talked to her and even Renai about being more aggressive and taking shots tomorrow night?
We have talked to all of our guards about being a little bit more aggressive when they get the ball to the paint. We showed them on film. There were a few times that we passed up some opportunities, and I think that's going to be a work in progress for us. We've worked on it in practice, but you know, we've got to make that a habit. Our guards have to be a little bit more aggressive, play a little bit more downhill when they're going to the basket.
Any update on Jaden McCoy?
Jaden got a few reps in today, got in a few drills, but at this point it's probably going to be a game time decision. We'll see how she does in shoot around and even warm ups.
Non-Notre Dame question. Obviously, Oregon, as you probably heard, beat the national team yesterday. The last team to do that, of course, was Tennessee when Carol Lawson was a freshman in 1999. I know USA basketball was missing some star players, but it's still the U.S. national team. Just how much of an accomplishment is that for Oregon?
Oh, I think that's huge for Oregon. I think it shows their competitiveness, their level of execution to be able to beat that team in November, I think is really impressive. Obviously, Oregon's ranked #1 for a reason. They returned a lot of players from a great team last year, but that's a big deal. And you know, I think it's probably really good for the Team USA as well to have that competition and maybe a jolt. And when they get their others back, hopefully that can lead them to more wins down the road for Team USA.
Thanks, Coach Harper.
All right, thank you guys.
Thank you, Coach. Good luck tomorrow.
Thank you.